how do you think, the challenges that you face really set you up for or prepared you for taking on the things that you've taken on? How did you get set up for success in those things?
And so I'm trying to figure out ways to just like maintain these relationships and then to solve these problems that, we're seeing in our community. Gravity was an organization that we started in 2016. It was started as a meetup, essentially, trying to help businesses more behind the scenes. So
salutations, good people. Welcome to the Pancakes From Scratch Podcast. My name is Ernest Coleman III, and I'm excited to have another special guest with us here today, someone I consider to be a near and dear friend and a brother of mine. This dude he's good people. He's good people. So I'm always excited to spend time with good people, but more than that, entrepreneur, an executive leader, somebody that's been in the nonprofit space, the for-profit space, the philanthropic space, all kinds of different business and tech endeavors. So honored to be in your presence, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much for inviting me as a guest to the inaugural season of Pancakes From Scratch. I love pancakes. It's one of my favorite breakfast items. So very superior to waffles, you know what I'm saying?
Naturally.
But
It's all good, man. It's good to see you, bro. Everything been good with you?
Everything's good, man. Everything's good. Just trying to knock out these last couple of days of 2022, going into 2023. It should be a big year. So I'm just excited for everything to come and proud of what's been done, so yeah, it's been 2022 was a time. It was a time.
We had a time. We're going to get into it. We had a time. But before we do, man, just a quick check-in. What's giving you energy this week, bro?
Man, NyQuil. NyQuil's giving me energy. It's zinc, elderberry, all those home remedies, really. Pepper soup, all of that. It's flu season up here, so I know you're down in Atlanta, but we got some stuff going on up here in the Great North, so it's been a little rough the last couple of days, but I'm feeling a lot better, and I got energy now. So I'm just here, happy to, and this opportunity just to talk to one of my favorite people in the world. I think it's just another thing that's giving me energy. Seeing you doing what you've been doing with your business and your entrepreneurial journey as well too, bro. So yeah, those are the things giving me energy this week. Yeah.
I love it, man. That's what's up. Well, I'm glad you're feeling a little better and coming up off of that, man. I know, Atlanta and this region, we don't really experience the same type of winter you have in Minnesota, but it has been a lot of this illness going around. The RSV was active, COVID constantly coming up with new variants. So definitely encourage everybody to do what you can to stay well. And glad to see that you're doing well. You ain't get my fur baby sick, did you?
Nah, man, she probably won't get us sick going to that doggy daycare and all this stuff back home. So, yeah. And COVID got more variants than Spider-Man. Did you see that trailer that dropped yesterday? So there's just this. It's a lot. It's just another one every day.
It's all good. It's all good. We're going to be all right. As Kendrick was saying, we're going to be all right.
We're going to be all right. We're going to be all right.
It's all good, man. Well, I appreciate you making time to just be here, spend some time and chop it up with me a little bit, man. Only a handful of things I want to talk about. A few key questions I like to ask folks, and we just keep the conversation rolling. But the first thing I want to really dig into is about some of the challenges that you've had to experience in life and career that really helped you to become who you are, right? So are there, as you think back over time, are there key challenges that stand out as, things that shaped you?
Yeah, it's a great question. When I think about, my life, and I kind of like to think of things like post college, right? Because I feel like that's when you kind of are thrown into the world a little bit more. I mean, I definitely had my challenges in college. Everybody does. I don't want to discredit that, anybody that's in that time period right now. But I think, it's important to, that's like one huge accomplishment in and of itself. And I've been out of college for 10 plus years. So my frame of thought and everything that has happened since then is a lot more intense than my time in college, even though I had a great time in college and had my own trials and tribulations and a lot of successes as well too. But I think post-college, I think just dealing with like the responsibilities, I'm the firstborn. And so, as you being the oldest and you have your parents getting older and things like that, making sure that they're doing well, dealing with some of that stuff was a big challenge. And I think after college, I had to focus on helping handle some of those things. And then, from a career standpoint, just trying to figure out really what I wanted to spend my time doing and identifying what my passions were. And, I always knew that whatever I did, I went to school for strategic communications, so advertising and PR. And, I love working with people and working for people and serving people. And I thought I was going to work in a PR firm or for a company doing PR like while I was in school. And that didn't end up happening. I kind of took a different path and, ended up doing business to business sales with Apple and going into business consulting, and then took the business route, honestly, throughout the rest of my career, and kind of got into entrepreneurship and then, doing other things. So I think, when I think about challenges, it was just more so just trying to find myself, and figure out exactly like who I wanted to be, what my passions were, what was I really good at, and what did I want to continue to, like when I figured out what I was good at, how did I develop those things to be really great at them and exceptional at them, so that way I can like find a niche for myself where I'll be content with what I did every day, and that's still a struggle. I mean, not a struggle, but it's still a challenge that I kind of that I go through on a daily basis. But it's something that earlier on in my career, post-college, like I definitely it took some time for me to figure that out. And I feel like people would tell me what I'm really great at, and I'd be like, yeah, I love doing that, but it takes energy to do certain things, right? And if you don't have the energy to invest into developing those things that you are good at, to be great at them, then you got to figure out what you want to do. And I think that's kind of where I was at during that time of my life. And I feel like I'm in a better place now. So I have a little more clarity around, what I want my life to look like and what I want my career to look like. And I've been blessed to be able to have a bunch of different experiences, throughout my career. Just because I put myself in different situations and challenged myself and made relationships and connections with people that definitely allowed me to experience different things. So
Absolutely, man. I know that like when you come into those seasons and circumstances where you gotta like lean in and support the people who at one time supported you, like that's major, bro. That can be a huge weight to carry and a lot to focus and put attention on. So do you feel like the energy that you put into helping the family out took away from the time that you would have had to like get clarity on what you wanted to be doing?
I think it's interesting because it's like, the initial thought for me was like, okay, I graduate college, I'm gonna go right to grad school. And I was thinking about leaving Minnesota and looking at other places just to experience grad school. In hindsight, I'm like, when I look at how much student loans I had for undergrad, I'm happy I didn't do that right away. And because that would have put me in a financial, a completely different situation. I think that, so that's probably one thing, right? Like, I had to refocus like how I wanted to develop myself. And I decided to just continue to, try to move up in the place that I was at in work and get all the training and get all the mentorship I could possibly get. build my relationships, build my networks, try to get experience outside of the job that I had at the time into the thing that I thought I would want to do next, right? And that's what I did. And it put me in position for the next opportunity and the next opportunity and the next opportunity, without having to go to grad school, which, I'm not saying that I will never go to grad school. I don't know. We'll see when that time comes, if it makes sense financially, if I can get a scholarship, all that stuff, yeah, I'll do that. But I think that there's other ways to develop yourself outside of, just going and getting another degree. And I think that there's definitely, that's the kind of the experience that I had to go through with the circumstance that I had, right? And that's just my unique story. Everybody's situation is different, and I respect that. But I think that for me, it took time for me to accept like what my story was. And I think that's the biggest thing, and that if anything held me back, that's probably what it was. Because I was like, everybody else that I knew was, going on, getting another degree, doing their thing, kind of branching out of Minnesota. And I had to buckle down and focus on what was important to me at the time, which was like taking care of my family, focusing on what I wanted to do and figuring that out. And so that like, was something that I did struggle with, right? I think for me, the biggest thing that helped me kind of like get closure and peace with that was like going into therapy, getting mentors, talking to people like you and other bros in the fraternity to help me kind of like ground myself in like what my purpose is. And then, just really just trying to execute on the opportunities that were never presented. Whenever I needed to get prepared for it, I had support, and I had to recognize like the support that I have. And I leaned on my family for those opportunities as well too. And during those times, which was like really, really, really impactful for me. You know what I'm saying? That's, that if anybody knows who I am, they know how important like family, friendships, relationships are to me, and how, I show up for people because people have shown up for me. So.
No, absolutely. That's major, man. That's major. It's good insight. I think people fail to realize like the learning journey continues in the academic space, outside of the academic space. As you move through life, we continue to learn, and it's just being willing to see the opportunities for learning as they come to you.
Yes.
And so it's great that you've been able to like just navigate the space that you've experienced and take the wisdom as you move along. I think that's powerful, man. I think a lot of people can leverage that wisdom and learn from that experience. That's dope. I appreciate you sharing that. I appreciate you sharing.
Thank you, man. And I think it's also important too, just to your point though, like we have these experiences, and oftentimes we experience things that are challenging, and we keep them to ourselves because some people don't want people to see the struggle or things being difficult, but I feel like that's not authentic. And it's important to talk about the challenges that we've had, because if you don't, then, people aren't going to really understand what's real or not. And I think that's in today's day and age with everything going on with social media, all these AI photos and things like that, like what's really real anymore, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's important to also mention too.
How do you think, the challenges that you face really set you up for, or prepared you for taking on the things that you've taken on? Being part of the businesses that you've been a part of, taking on the roles that you've had, like, how did you get set up for success in those things?
It was just maintaining the relationships that I've had over the years, and just people knowing who I am and what I'm about. And I think also too, like, I've always been passionate about like business and trying to help people, especially our people, Black people, other people of color as well, but specifically Black people, especially in Minnesota, where there's so many disparities when it comes to like opportunities for Black and white people. It just bothers me because I feel like my parents both came here from Cameroon for opportunities to go to school and things like that, and they settled here for 40 plus years. And like, this is their home now, you know what I'm saying? So it's my home by that. And I'm just trying to I look at it like, okay, if Minnesota can be great for all these categories, for everybody else, for Black people, why is that? I want to understand what the root cause of these problems are. And so I'm trying to figure out ways to just like maintain these relationships and then to solve these problems that, you know, we're seeing in our community. And like, so everything that I've tried to do has kind of built upon that. Like when I started working at Apple after college, and I was doing business-to-business sales. And that was just for me to learn business and work at a big company and like get that experience of customer service and just really just like, you know, get my bearings in that area. And then working at a nonprofit like Meta and going into working specifically with entrepreneurs of color, and then starting Gravity with Alex and the team, and, you know, trying to showcase Black startup founders and things like that. It really just like kind of continue to build upon where, you know, I'm understanding a lot more than I thought I ever would because of just the experiences that I was able to create for myself, and, you know, that were presented, that I just, you know, would show to events and would support this other organization, and which would build another relationship, and then we collaborate on this, and then we're doing a summit, and then we're doing this, and then, you know, all these things build upon. We did Wealth and Leadership Summit with Sigma. Like, all those things kind of like prepared me to be doing the things that I did for work or for the stuff I was doing on my own, and et cetera. So I think it's just kind of like, for me, it was trying to take advantage of those opportunities, trying to really, you know, continue to do my research and be informed about the issues that are going on, and then find creative ways to address them. Like, how many times did I give you a call and it was like, hey, this thing's going on, like, what are we gonna do about it? And then we just talk about it, and then we figure something out to do about it. So that's just kind of like how my mind works.
Yeah, man. No, that's good. I think like it's one of those things that has to be core to how we grow. You know, my opinion, it's gotta be really central to how you lead your life. Like, people say it takes a village to raise a child, but it takes a village to grow, like, for anybody. So right. I lean heavy on that, man, like trying to stay connected with folks, you know, even if it's as much as just sending a text message every once in a while. But there's even more value in like making time to have a conversation, you know.
Right.
You can get face to face, or if you can sit down and just get on the phone for a few minutes, man. Just that stuff is valuable. The time that we spend with one another, investing that time and energy, it makes a huge difference.
Major.
Yeah. And so it's really crafted this human you've become, and this good brother that, you know, is out here saving the world in however many ways, man. Tell us about some of the stuff that you have going on. I know Gravity's a big thing, but I know you got some other things moving. Like, what is Gravity?
Yeah, so Gravity was an organization that we started in 2016. It was started as a meetup, essentially. Alex Rodriguez was my co-founder. We had Brianna McCullough and Jasmine Russell was some of the initial team members, with Tevi and a bunch of other people who were just awesome, just trying to kind of help us get our events together. We did biannual summits, so we did a summit every 2 years in 2017 and 2019. Where one of the first ones in 2017, we brought Arlen Hamilton to Minnesota. She's the founder of Backstage Capital. She's a Black VC, and she actually invested in one of the companies that was there, Habit Aware. And then also 2019, we had our summit at the Target Commons headquarters in downtown Minneapolis, and they were a big sponsor and supporter of Gravity as well too. And we would do like fireside chats as well for founders, and do like different type of conversations that we would stream live on Facebook so people can get the information. Just try to build a community of founders of color who are out here, who are looking for community, who are looking for ways to get knowledge and support on how to keep going and to get funding and to grow their team and to get, market penetration and all those different things that are important for growing your business. And we just wanted to create that space for them because we felt like, there were a number of different startup type things in the city at the time, but they weren't very diverse and they weren't very welcoming during the time. And that had been a common, issue. And so we did our thing for those 4 years. And then when the pandemic hit, it made things a little difficult because it changed the way that we were able to interact with our community. And honestly, a lot of us kind of ended up doing our own things just to kind of survive. Like, Alex started focusing on his family business and his app, and Brianna went back to grad school. I got a new job as well too, working at the center. And so there was a lot of things that had changed during that time. So we haven't been as active with Gravity as we once were, but I think a lot of the work we have done people still feel it, and there's still an impact on the community. And there's other organizations that are carrying on a lot of that work too. And even the organizations that initially weren't as doing what they needed to do when it came to being as welcoming and diverse, they've completely changed their approach, and they're having a lot more diverse events, which is the whole point, right? So that's the work that we did during that time. And really right now, when it comes to Gravity, one of the things I focused on is trying to help businesses more behind the scenes. So my fiance and I were doing Gravity Consulting Group. We're just consulting on the side, just trying to help businesses here and there, wherever we can. And so it's really changed a little bit from how the original model was, but we might end up bringing it back at some point. We'll just have to be the right timing and the right team. So, and then as far as other things that I got going on, I just recently joined the Minneapolis Foundation in July.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. So that's like a whole new sector for me from a job standpoint. I've worked in for-profit, big business with Apple, and then nonprofit working with Mita, being a business consultant, and then working in a startup nonprofit at the Center for Economic Inclusion, and now working for a 100-plus-year-old community foundation at the Minneapolis Foundation in Philanthropy. So the philanthropy world is much different. It's interesting because, when you're working at nonprofit, for the time that I was there, it was really more so about how can we figure out ways to find resources for the organization and for the people that we're serving. And working at a foundation, we're giving all those resources away. We have all the money to give the resources away. So it's a different position to be in, and it feels different, and it's a good feeling, but it's more so a different responsibility of how do I leverage what I am doing in my role to impact the community. And so my job specifically is to work with managing a portfolio of donor advised funds, working with donors who have their money in essentially what is a charitable savings account. And that money sits and it's able to be used for charitable gifts to different nonprofit organizations that they're passionate about. And my job is to help direct them to find the different opportunities and where the need is in the community, or facilitate those gifts being put out into the community. So, yeah, it's a completely different job. It's a lot of learning, but it's a great team, great culture, great environment, great organization, great leadership. And so I'm very happy and comfortable being here and doing what I'm doing. And it's been exciting. So those are some of the things that have been major upgrades for me recently. And then also just outside of work, doing a lot of stuff, in the community with the Minnesota Black Chamber of Commerce. I'm the vice chair for that for 2023 now. So we're trying to work to get more. We had so many businesses that were affected by the pandemic, that weren't able to make it. I just told you about how we had to pivot with gravity, and that's just our story. But there's a bunch of other businesses that, just didn't survive. And then there's a lot of businesses that were created out of the pandemic because people had to leave their jobs, become entrepreneurs like yourself, right? So, there's so many people that are looking for that community. So many Black entrepreneurs, new Black entrepreneurs, or Black entrepreneurs that barely scraped through the pandemic. They're looking for resources and support. And so the Black Chamber is a great opportunity to build that community and build that ecosystem, and to be able to track and really make investment into Black businesses in Minnesota. And so, we're really focused on that. We have a great program that we're launching called the 10,000 Black Business Program, which is a grant program for Black businesses who want to be able to help provide access to capital for all of our member organizations in the chamber, and different ones that are going to be forming as well too. And then, we do a number of other events like our monthly lunch and learns and our monthly meetups and our annual golf fundraiser and our annual gala. And then we have our summit that we collaborate with the Black MBA. So those are some of the events that we do. Yeah, those are just some of the events that we do with the chamber. And then I'm also the co-chair for the Black Business Pillar for MBCRE, which is the Minnesota Business Coalition on Racial Equity. And we just had our all hands meeting yesterday at the Capri Theater in North Minneapolis. And that was an opportunity for us to talk about the work we've been doing behind the scenes. And I joined that in July. And, Courtney Schroeder from General Mills, he's a global inclusion director, great brother. He and I have been working with Tiffany Daniels, who's the director of MBCRE, and we've just announced a partnership with First Independence Bank, which is the first Black-owned bank in Minnesota, to do a deposit drive in February for $1 million to help kind of establish them here in the Twin Cities. And we're also going to be announcing a partnership with the Black Chamber of Commerce as well too. So there's just a lot of things going on.
Okay.
So yeah,
that's a little lot. All right.
Yeah.
That's what's up, man. Super active in a lot of different ways, a lot of different spaces, but it seems like everything kind of works together. On that same path, have an impact on business and founder community. And
so in theory, I should have land. But in reality, with everything going on right now, who knows? But but those are the things, like there's different levels to like all of these things, right? But at the end of the day, I think that we just need to make sure we're having these conversations with each other. Just even if it's through a podcast or at a barbershop or, at dinner with friends or at a family meeting or with your parents, whoever, with your spouse, like we got to have these type of conversations around legacy and what happens when we die and what's passed on, what does our wealth look like? Because it's hard conversations to have, but they're important because there's people that don't look like us that have those conversations and they're already set. They know what's going to happen and they don't have to worry about anything. And so I don't want to continue to see us having to do GoFundMes when people pass away because we weren't prepared for all of that stuff. And I think that's some of the stuff that I'm learning in this new role. Like, how do you set yourself up? What does your estate look like? All that stuff, like stuff that I was like, never had any interest in even talking about. Like, I see how important it is now. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a different perspective that I'm gaining in this new opportunity. So
it's heavy. It's heavy, man. But it's great that you have such a powerful learning experience in that role. I'm curious about, when you look back across your career, is there a specific role that's like the one that you have the most gratitude for? Like, you're most grateful for the opportunity to have this job or this position for whatever reason?
Man, honestly, I've had so many different great opportunities. Like I've been blessed to have a lot. Like when I was an undergrad, I interned for the Vikings for a season. And so I got to work in the NFL, and that was amazing. Yeah, Monday was the 10-year anniversary of when the stadium collapsed. And I was an intern that season. So I was working for the team when that whole thing happened. I remember waking up and seeing a text message like, yeah, we're not having a game because we don't have a stadium. Like, so it's been insane. But so I've seen that world. I've worked at Apple. I think Apple was probably really impactful for me because it really taught me a lot about just customer service and working for one of the top companies in the entire world, one of the richest companies in the entire world, but then also just how they do things and how they got to that level. And just like the people that I work with and all of that. I had really great people that I work with and a lot of different experiences. I actually I had an experience at work recently that I was sharing with a coworker, and they're like, you handle that really well. I don't know if I would have handled it the same way. And I just immediately was like, yeah, I think it's because when I was at Apple, I dealt with some stuff dealing with people when they're dealing with, they're most vulnerable when their technology is not working. It's like you got to really have some cool, calm, and collective mindset dealing with customers at that standpoint. And so doing B2B sales, and then like after working in just the regular store and then doing the sales piece with the business, like that was a different level of customer, and that helped me learn how to speak to customers at a different level, and individuals at a different level. That when I eventually transitioned into consulting and working at the center doing the director of employer inclusivity work, like I was able to have those conversations that were difficult with people at really high levels. So all of that was, I think every job I've had has prepared me for the next opportunity. So I can't even really pinpoint just one, but I can talk about pieces from each one that really kind of helped me be comfortable in where I was at the next one. I don't feel like I ever felt ill-prepared for a job or uncomfortable in a role that I was in. Even in this role, like I've never been in philanthropy. It's more financial than anything. I don't feel like I'm not prepared to handle anything, or I don't have the support I need or whatever it may be. So I feel like I'm going to be just fine. So yeah, it's been a blessing. Yeah.
Real cool, man. Real cool. I forgot that, or I didn't even realize that you were an intern when the stadium collapsed, bro. That's crazy. Yeah. You never got in trouble for that? They didn't find out?
Man. So I was real slick with it, bro. Like they ain't gonna find out. Unless they watch the podcast. Apparently not, because you stay.
You out, man. No, that's what's up, man. Good stuff. It's powerful to be able to say that, it's really the culmination of experiences that you've had that create the gratitude for everything that you've been through, everything that prepared you for where you're going and what you're trying to do. Because we all go through stuff, right? The ups and downs of life and career. And like there's a certain level of appreciation that we have for the challenges that shape us, but also like the above and beyond opportunities that, maybe we were ready for, maybe we weren't ready for them, but it pushed us to become this person that we are today. And there's just, for me, and I think for a lot of people, there's just a sense of gratitude and appreciation for having that journey. And like, before you get to those experiences, before you hit those milestones, there's this assumption of a linear career experience or a linear path to success. And like the more conversations I have, man, It don't even seem like a real thing.
It's like this. It's like it's doing all that all over the place.
True.
Yeah, I think honestly now, because like as I mentioned earlier, I'm engaged, so we're planning to have our wedding next year in 2023.
Congratulations, man! Wins all around. What? Come on.
Yes, thank you. So I think conversations that my fiance Sierra and I have it's like, okay, how are we gonna, from a career standpoint, like we just want to be able to have jobs that we don't hate when we go to work every day, because we don't want to bring that energy back into the house, right? Or keep it in the house, because we both work remotely at times. So it's just kind of like a whole different dynamic. But I think it's important to just make sure that, we're in careers that we're, excited about, engaged in, and want to be able to continue to develop ourselves in. And I think we both kind of landed at a good space for that, which is a good starting point for as we start our family. And so that's probably, if I had to give any advice, I think that's an important thing to also make sure you have those conversations with your spouse about, like, because those things are a big deal. And I mean, they can really affect a relationship or the flow in the house and things like that too. So yeah, it's important. But yeah, I think I'm at a point now where I'm like, I think I wanted to be in a career that I could see myself in, like if I had kids and, I wasn't having to be super stressed out or things like that. Like, I know I'm doing good. I know that it's making an impact. It's something that I can continue to grow in. It's not like there's not a ceiling, what I'm saying, necessarily in this space that I'm in right now, which is that I can see at least right now. And there's so many other things because of the experiences that I've had, I could go do. But I feel like if I wanted stability, like this is a good place for me to be in. So I'm blessed for that.
That's what's up. You feel like, you can set yourself up for like leaning into the stay-at-home dad life? Is that cool?
Oh man,
keep going, bro.
Listen, I mean, I don't know. Whatever needs to get done is what needs to get done. You know what I'm saying?
I love it.
I feel like there's I like my house, so I can stay at home if I need to stay home. But but at the end of the day, I it's all up to like where she's at in her career and where I'm at my career and what's going on. We just got to talk about it and figure it out. But because I mean, at the end of the day, like I just want to do what's best for my family, and just like my mom and dad did for us. So it's and her parents did for her and her sister. So we just gotta do what we gotta do. So
that's what's up.
Yeah,
that's a strong legacy, bro. That's a strong legacy. I'm excited for y'all. Really.
I'm trying to be like you, man.
Ah, man, don't go the wrong way. Things are going. Yeah, we are tremendously blessed. It's a ton of work. Me and Leela have definitely been through it in a number of different ways. Just making our transition from Minnesota to Georgia, as tough as that was, it brought us closer together. Doing what we need to do to make sure the kids are taken care of. Just the everyday getting them back and forth to school. I mean, every single day is an opportunity for us to find new ways to grow together and lean on one another for making it happen. Just like you said, man, that's keeping the main thing, bro, for real.
I also just really quickly want to give a shout out to my nephew, Tristan, because it was his birthday last week and I didn't get a chance to call him. So I want to publicly wish him a happy birthday, belated birthday, on this podcast today. So
I know he's going to appreciate it. You're going to have super hype. I'm going to let him listen to it. He's going to be super hype. I love it. I appreciate it, man. Good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff. Okay, cool. So we've talked about a few things. Part of the reason for this podcast and the reason it's called the Pancakes From Scratch Podcast is because
you're dropping your own brand of pancakes, right?
Listen, it might be a move. It might be a move. I'm gonna hold that. Hold that.
All right.
Listen, I'm gonna hit you up when I need some business consulting on that front.
Just let me know. That's why I just had to clarify. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, you didn't tell me is there any product placement that should have been on this podcast? Like, we need to get some sponsorships or something like that. Like, what's going on?
Listen, we can figure that out, man. That's a real conversation. But no, I think there's something at the intersection of food and culture, and something that there's something that exists around the experience of cooking and preparing food and eating, and like the moments that it creates for our life that also contributes to creating the person that we become, right? I keep telling this story over and over again. As a kid, my favorite food was, one of my favorite breakfasts was French toast. Okay, so every morning I was hitting moms up, Mom, Dad, can we make some French toast? And usually they'd be like, nah, we don't really have time. You know what I'm saying? It takes a while. We don't have all the ingredients, whatever. Later on in life, I learned that French toast ain't but bread and eggs. I said, hang on a second. Y'all played me. It was bread and eggs the whole time. That's all we needed. And, so, but now, of course, the grandkids are here, right? So we get the grandkids over to my mom's place or mom and dad's crib, and now the grandkids get pancakes from scratch with Nana. Now, wait a minute. Now, I know pancakes from scratch is a lot more complicated, take a lot more ingredients and time than it do to make some French toast. So now I'm all slighted. I'm jaded, right? You done impacted me. So I to be vindicated, I created the Pancakes From Scratch podcast, but also because I think there's something serious to explore around this intersection of food and culture and ambition, and like how we become who we are personally and professionally. All that being said, what was one of your favorite foods growing up, man?
I'll answer that, but I also wanted to mention too, the one thing you forgot to mention about the pancakes that's really important is that there's levels and layers to it.
Woo! That's a bar.
It keeps stacking, just like life. You know what I'm saying? So you can't leave that part out. You right. Leave that part out. You can't just have one pancake. You gotta have pancakes is plural. You gotta have levels in your pancakes. You know, so that's really important. That's really important.
Yeah. Okay. I'm writing that down. That's a real.
Yeah, I don't see the pen moving. You might want to write it down real quick.
I got you.
Oh, okay. So you said my favorite breakfast food?
Any food, your favorite food growing up, man. I know, come on now, with the Cameroonian dishes, I know it's something serious.
Oh, man, okay, so favorite Cameroonian food, I love fufu and okra, or fufu and egusi, or fufu and country soup. Pepper soup whenever I'm sick. I have it. Jollof rice, obviously. And then just comfort food that's not African, mac and cheese. Breakfast food, you know, I mess with pancakes. I like, as I said, they are superior to waffles, but I do like my French toast as well, you know. And then I would also have to I would be remiss if I didn't say that we were really big cereal kids, because growing up, my father worked for General Mills, so we would get cereal all the time.
Oh man, stop it! You had a plug.
We had a serious plug. Like our plug was so pluggy that we had white boxes of cereal that even have labels on them because they hadn't even come out yet. So the cereal it was like literally the cereal my dad he's a chemical engineer, he's a food processing engineer. So he was like making the new cereals. So like
he was bringing home the Blue Magic. That's crazy.
So it was the white box that had nothing on it that was like, this is the test cereal. And then he gave us the test stuff and we say if we like it or not. So yeah.
It's different. Okay. It's levels to cereal. Y'all didn't even know. But now you know. If you ain't get the cereal in the white box, you wasn't really getting it.
It's the levels, man. It's just like the pancakes. It's always levels. It's always levels.
That's what's up, man. That's what's up. Well, I definitely appreciate that insight. That's good to know. Now I got, like, you got me thinking about the cereal days, man. I used to get down on the Pops and the Sugar Smacks. I wasn't messing with no healthy cereals, bro. No healthy cereals.
Those, I'm like, damn, that's going to have a lot of sugar. No, we were, everything had to be General Mills cereal. So like, there would be times when I would see the commercials for like Fruity Pebbles or like Frosted Flakes. I'm like, can we get that? My dad's like, nope. He's like, if you wasn't getting it for free or for like hella discounted at the store, he was not buying it. He didn't care. And that's back when cereal was like, so you see cereal was like $6 now, right? Because of inflation. This is back in the 90s. So like cereal was only like $1. My dad was like, that's too expensive. I'm not buying it because I can get it for 50 cents at the store at work. So I'm like, it was $1.25 for a box of cereal back then. So
it's a white box though.
So I didn't have Frosted Flakes until 2004 when he left General Mills. So it was that whole childhood. It was like I was in high school when I had Frosted Flakes. Crazy.
Frosted Flakes is a move though. Frosted Flakes is a win. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I mean, we had Frosted Wheaties, but it was wheat. It was different. So I was big on Cheerios, honey, like apple cinnamon Cheerios. Those were good.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you had the different stuff. You had the
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. That hit every time.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You had Cinnamon Toast Cheerios. People didn't even know what that was, but they was at your house.
The Cinnamon Toast Cheerios actually they did try that. It wasn't that bad, but
how did I know?
They didn't release it, but I liked it. I don't know why they didn't release it. That's cool. Man. I gave it a thumbs up.
Hey, listen, they ain't clocked the vote. They hating. But listen, man, I don't want to take up too much of your time, bro. But before we close out, man, give us a last word, some parting advice, bro.
Thank you so much for the invite. I'm honored to be a guest and, just to help build these conversations that you're having with so many amazing people. I would say, just to kind of recap the conversation you and I had is like, just trust your own process and really surround yourself around people that believe in you. And sometimes when you forget, who you are and what your greatness is, like it's just nice to hear from other people, so that way you can keep going. And your village is your guiding force in life, right? And also your focus on yourself and your relationship with God is also very important too, to keep things going. So just continue to grind if you feel stuck, and you'll eventually get out the mud and be able to move forward with it. So but nobody's perfect. Nobody's journey is a straight arrow, right? It's gonna have its zigzags in it, and that's okay, because if you don't have those opportunities to learn from any failures that you may have come across, then you're never gonna grow from where you were at before. So just take everything on the chin and keep it moving.
That's it. I love it, man. I appreciate it. How could people get in touch with you, bro? If they wanna hire Gravity Consulting Group, or if they just want to link up with you, how do they get in touch?
Yeah, just connect with me on LinkedIn. That's probably the best place if I'm doing any business or anything professional. I'm on LinkedIn a lot. So my inbox is kind of crazy right now because of the holiday season, but LinkedIn is probably the best place. My goal is to get our website up by early Q1 of 2023. God, it's already 2023. That's crazy.
Yeah, man.
2023. It's the world's Jordan year. You realize that, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah.
Okay, we going. But that's why they gave Jordan that award. You see that? The MVP award is now the Michael
Jordan. Yeah, that's good. That's good. What they gonna give Kobe? What's his thing gonna be? Is it just the All-Star one?
ASAP. I don't know.
Yeah. No. But like it's gonna be a crazy year. So that's the best way you can reach me. I just be chilling. I'm I be chilling now. I don't be out there like that anymore. It's too cold. So it's too cold.
Well, good stuff, man. I appreciate you making the time, bro. It's great talking to you as always. And yeah, we'll link up soon, bro. Go mob.
For sure. All right, man. Mob. Happy holidays, everybody. Take care.